Megtooth Sabers requires a lot of work on engineering, drilling, smoothing, tapping, setting, imagining, cutting, stripping, twisting, dipping, tin it, pin it, wire it, fire it, lock it, rust it, swing it, bash it. Megtooth Sabers.
Bam, we're live, right to business. Max, if you got to go to a meeting, go to the meeting, buddy. Big thing I wanted to say was, Max, you know, you're in Australia. I know it's very hard for you to get sabers, and China's a lot closer to you. And, you know, I understand, you know, that Sabers has, you know, they're a good Chinese reseller, and you can get hold of them there. I don't have any problems with you buying Sabers. My problem is all these Yanks here in the U.S. buying all these Chinese-made sabers, and then they're junk, and then they're like, my saber's junk, you know, and they're buying it from, it's just a mess. The Chinese sabers have really made a mess. You know, even the Proffieboard support group and open source forums have turned into a mess. Hey, Robert Myers. Hey, Robert, everything's still going good on the DV6? Making sure that DV6 is still running good. Oh, yeah. Hey, Mountain Sabers. I see you on there too. Smooth Jazz family, got your saber in the mail today. So basically, we got some cool stuff happening tonight, and I got it all laid out for you. It's a mess. So this is the broken chassis that was in this saber, and actually I think it went like that. And you can see the customer tried to glue it together, but it was no good. So last week we deconstructed this chassis. I took the recharge port and the speaker out of it, and the battery in this thing was no good. So this out with the old and with the new. So this is the new chassis we're going with. We're actually going to reuse the Proffieboard 1.5. And, you know, for time's sake, I did do some pre-building. So what I did was I soldered the negative wire to the spring side, your negative. And then I did solder up the two contacts for the speaker. And I ran the speaker and the speaker wires. And so you can see here, this is my negative wire from the battery negative, and these are my two speaker wires. And I ran them through some shrink wrap in there. So trying to get it where you can see that, where it's illuminated. But I ran them through some shrink wrap in there. And then, you know, when we go to install our battery, you know, spring side your negative, in she goes. And there you go. Ooh, 3,400 milliamp hours. There's no way that is not... Yeah, that's not a good saber battery there. But, you know, we'll use an appropriate saber battery. I don't even know where that one came from. Hey, Solo Sabers. So this is what's happening. Sweet. Yeah, you know, I had the more rigid grips I could have put on there, Robert. I tried talking into that initially. But, yeah, those rubber grips are no good. The Wanawanga ones are definitely a lot better for the DV6. So I'm glad you got them swapped out. So... this chassis is ready to rock and roll. I know we missed, you know, wiring the negative, the spring side, your negative, but don't worry, we're going to pull out the positive, and you'll get to see the positive, how I wire it. And if you see that, you'll know how I did the negative. But I figured I've done enough speakers that everybody's seen wiring speakers. I mean, it's easy, right? And by the way, that's a Smugglers Outpost 28mm bass speaker, and I meant to have, stand by, you know, bam! Smugglers Outpost 28mm bass speaker. That's what that one is right there. And that's what's in this beast. Now, next, I got a package from CCSabers. I just got it. Just came in the mail today. It's going to be the first time I've ever even wired these things up. So let's open this bad boy and see what we got. Because I don't even know. I've never even looked at these things. Now, these are the ones that you always see. You see Jeremy installing these a lot at Solo Sabers. Dang, this packaging is going to be hard to open, huh? Jeremy installs these things a lot, and I haven't installed one yet, so this is going to be my first. Here's two. I'm gonna put two in my inventory up there in the repertoire, and I already have the wires actually laid out for this one. So, you know, I have my wires laid out right here. But here's the CCSabers contact, and whoa, I haven't even. Are they soldered in? I guess they are. It doesn't look like they're soldered in. We're about to find out. I hope I don't have to solder this in tonight, because that will be difficult. Oh yeah, 28mm speaker. Smugglers Outpost 20mm Elite is pretty much my go-to. Oh man, those are short pins though. I didn't want the short pins. I guess I ordered the wrong ones. Eek. Now what, guys? Are they all short pins? Are they all short pins, Jeremy? Or did I order the wrong one? The pins are like really short, so it looks like the target's going to come down and sit right on those LEDs. I didn't mean to order the short pins, but I may have here. And then how is that going to sit in there? Does it sit in there like that? And I guess I'm going to have to glue it in there. So let's see here. Looks like I've got a resistor on board, or is that a place for a resistor or what? I guess I need to go and read the manual on these things. So positive, negative. I know the center will be my data, but it looks like he also has a pad for data. And he's got a pad for positive and a pad for negative. So I'm wondering if I need to sand the PCB and it will recess into the holder. He does have long pins, but I always use the shorts. Okay, well that's a relief. All right, let me this is the thing, y'all. I mean, this is kind of good that everybody's seeing this, because everything is not always, golden when we first start. So, have my handy dandy, I got a file set, and I'm going to open my little file set, and I'm going to get out a file, and I want to wire them to the center, and I got you. So I'm going to file down the PCB, where it was attached to all the other PCBs, like that. Yeah, I mean, I've never done one of these before, but I mean, usually, it's positive, negative, and data. It's just where do I hook them all to? And to be honest with you, I probably should pull up the manual and be a good steward and do a screen share about, how these things work. But anyway, all right, sanded it down. So hopefully it should sit down in there and recess a little bit. Yeah, it looks like it's sitting down in there a lot better. And it looks like the short pins are just above the surface of the holder, which that looks like we want. So stand by. Let's do a screen share, and let's go see what we can find on CCSabers land. Okay, let's go to CCSabers. Bam, there they are. And then let's go to Saber Components and NeoPixel connector, holder included. Yeah, I got the short pin one. Damn it. I meant to get the long pin one, but it's okay. Latest manual, click me. So it's good you guys see this anyway. So this is the CCSabers manual. And before you start, blah, 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 yada, yada. All right. And it looks like there's an onboard resistor. I have to zoom in with my camera. I couldn't tell if there was an onboard resistor there or not. But I don't know if we're going to have to add that or if it was already there. So it looks like positive, negative, and data hooks to this D1, but it looks like that's only if we have that resistor. I got to scroll in and make sure we have that resistor. My old eyes can't see that. That's it. So, that's pretty much the manual. Looks like I'm going to be wiring to D1 for the data. Positive, I'm going to the positive pad. Negative, I'm going to the negative pad. And, we're in business. But all I need to do, I guess, is make sure that that resistor is on there. I hope this resistor is on there. I think that's your data line resistor 0603. Yeah, my guess is you can see the trace goes from this data pad into this side of the resistor, and then through the resistor, which should be 470 ohms, and then on to the data pad here. So this should be our data resistor. I'm assuming that's there. So let's get back to you guys. And back to... All right, so now I know Jeremy said he gave us a trick here, and he said what he does. I'm going to get the lightsaber out of the way. Of course, you guys know we're installing this flagship tonight, and I'm going to put this in the holder. I don't remember if it was Jeremy or if it was Albert that talked about that the other night, that talked about putting this in the holder. But let's zoom in on this thing and make sure that that the resistor is on there, because I can't tell. It looks like there's a resistor in there, but if we're not sure, we can always measure the impedance. So I'm going to measure the impedance across there. Put this thing on 2000. I'm going to zoom you guys back out. I hope. Oh, stand by. I know that's horrible. It's not letting me zoom back out. There it goes. Sorry. Sorry, y'all. I don't know why it didn't let me zoom back out there, but we're going to measure the impedance on this just to make sure the resistor's on there. And the only reason I'm doing this, y'all, is this is the first time I've ever... I'm 51 years old, guys. I can't see that crap. It looks like there's a resistor there. This is going to check and make sure, because I can't see, because that's like too small for my own eyes. So I'm going to go from data 1. I'm going to go from data 1 to the center pin, and I should have 470 ohms, or 330, and I do. See it? 300. Y'all can't see that. Let me flip that around so you guys can see the ohms meter. You guys will see the 330 pop up, and oop. Now you'll know that that we've definitely got good to go data. So there's 327 ohms. So that's a 330 ohm resistor right there. We're good to go. We're solid. No more multimeter here for a little bit. So we get the multimeter out of there, but you know. Look, I so old that I know, young eyes. Something like that. What the hell did he say? All right. We're rocking and rolling. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get my solder paste out. And bring in my solder tip cleaner. And we're going to clean off my tip. And we're going to get ready to rock and roll. I'm going to get this a little bit straighter in there because it's kind of... I don't remember if it was Albert or if it was Jeremy that said that... I'm sure Jeremy's installing a saber right now. He's probably just listening while he's installing 20 lightsabers while this is going on. Yeah, I might be flipped, guys. I might be flipped from what you guys are seeing. I'm going to try to zoom in a little bit if I can. Yeah, the camera might be flipped. Stand by. Here we go. I don't understand why it does this. It goes into like power saving mode or something, and I don't necessarily want it to. Alright, so there we go. Bring this thing where you guys can see it, and what we're going to do is we're going to use, let me find my little plastic thing. Where is my plastic nub? And I'm going to put a little bit of solder paste on the data pin on the D1. And I'm going to put a little on this positive out here. And then I'm going to put a little bit on negative right there. And then we're going to come in here. We're going to pre-tin these suckers. I'm going to put a little bit of solder on my iron, pre-tin the iron. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to pre-tin D1. And then I'm going to come in here, I'm going to pre-tin this negative. And then I'm going to come in here, I'm going to pre-tin this positive. Just like that. Nice round little beads, ready to accept our wires. And we're rocking and rolling. Trying to see if I can get y'all zoomed in a little bit more. Well, here we go with the screen lock again. I'm going to have to plug this phone in, or we're going to get screen locked all night long. So stand by. I'm going to try to plug this phone in so we're not screen locking. I'm going to try and cover the camera so you guys don't see this. It's horrible. All right. There we go. I'm going to try and zoom in a little bit more, and then we'll try and get you guys in frame. All right. There. So there's our NeoPixel PCB, and now y'all are zoomed in. You're not going to see this, but I'm stripping wires off screen, and I'm going to pretend my wires, and I'm only stripping, you know, just enough to go to the pads, and that's it. I don't strip any more than I need to go to the pads, and then I'm going to dip that wire in the Fluxorama, and we're going to pretend this wire, and I'm going to have all my wires going in the same direction, I'm hoping. And there is my negative wire pretend. And now let me get my data wire pretend. And I think the data wire is the one I'll go with first. Almost, I can't tell if I ought to go with data positive or negative first. My data line is 26 on this one, y'all. I'm running 26 gauge for my data. Not because you need 26. You could do 30 or 32 for data, but I just like 26 because it tends to hold a little bit better. You know, if there's any strain put on the NeoPixel connector and you got 30, you could break your wire. That's why I use 26. It just less likelihood of breaking. And now I'm gonna strip and tin my oh, you expert my butt. I'm not an expert. I'm just a schmo with a soldering iron. I actually think I'm better at, you know, the config authoring than I am installing. You know, I was watching Albert install the other night, and I'm like, oh my god, you know, that is awesome watching him go, you know, and I've seen a bunch of others, you know, Peacekeeper Sabers. I've watched him install Sabers, and oh my god, he is incredible. That is for sure. Okay, so I think I'm going to come up with my negative first, and my negative line, I pinned a negative pad there. And so I'm going to come in here, put a little bit of solder on my tip. Hopefully, I need to be this where you guys can see it. I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to bloop it on there. And I don't think I have touched the data there, so we're solid there. And then I'm going to, am I going with the tactile in the back hole? Actually, no, I'm just using a Smugglers Outpost dual switch. I'll show it to you here in a second. Mountain Sabers. It's actually a dual switch that goes into the tactile switch hole on that. Now, since I put that wire in there, she don't want to sit down in there. Well, you sucker. All right. Now. All right, I need my forceps because I can't even. I'm already dealing with small stuff. You know, another problem is once you're my age, these old eyes just aren't as good as they used to be. Not even with bifocals on, you know, which I'm wearing bifocals. And normally I also have oh, moved right at the last second. That was a great solder too. 1, 2, 3. Sweet. We're in there. We're in like Flynn. One last one. I'm gonna get that holder out of the way because she don't wanna cooperate. And I'm gonna, hey Bobby Susan Bach. And yeah, I'll show you guys the switch setup here in just a second. It's actually a Robert Sotomayor switch solution, y'all. It's actually pretty cool. So I'm gonna get this to my positive. So I need to hold that down a little bit further in my handy dandy hemostats. And I'm gonna come here on my positive pad, and y'all can't see that. Let me get it where you can see it, hopefully. I know my hemostats or my hands are probably covering it or whatever, but I'll show it to you, the camera, here in a minute. If you get to see all my solders, we'll inspect them close up. Oh man, burned my finger. All right, so where are you guys at? Focus. Focus. See, now it went off autofocus. Sometimes I hate this camera. Yeah, it's going to auto lock again. All right, so let's go to settings. Focus. Auto. All right. I don't know if you're going to be able to see my solders there. I don't like that negative one particularly. My data I like. It's nice and shiny. That data is nice and shiny. The positive is nice and shiny. The negative, let me put it here in the light. Negative is not quite as shiny as the other ones. So let's reheat the negative and make sure it's nice and shiny. And we'll do that. And I'm going to back you guys out. And let's see, I want that on auto. Like that. There. All right, sweet. And I'm going to put y'all back up in the tripod. And let's hit this negative line again. Let's get some fresh solder on my tip. Let's clean the tip. And get some fresh solder on there. Let's hit this negative line. Try and get that one nice and shiny. Oh yeah. That's much shinier. That's better. Okay, so that should be that. Now, this is a step that you don't have to do. You guys know I'm going to do it, right? I'm going to test it. I've never wired one of these before. Need to make sure that I did it right so that once we put it in the Saber, I ain't got to worry about it. You know, this is what holds me up longer than Jeremy is. I'm so anal retentive about this crap that I'll keep testing and testing and testing, and I know I do that. And it's something I got to break, but I can't stop it. I can't stop it. When I start testing, I gotta make sure, because I don't know. I'm always worried that if I don't test, then stuff will get messed up, and then it doesn't work, and then I have to take everything out of the Saber to figure out what I did wrong. But if I do test, then I know it's going to work before I put it in the Saber. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to test. So I'm going to get some solder, and I'm going to pre-tin the ends of all these wires, and I'm going to attach a NeoPixel plug to it, and then I'm going to hook on my my handy dandy test rig. Okay, green is data on this one, so let's see here. Let's get some red. Now then, I'm just going to temporarily tack these wires to the test rig so I can quickly untack them. And try and get you in here where you guys can see what I'm doing. Here's the test rig plug. I'll show you in just a second. The damn camera just keeps moving. Stand by. Trying to... There. So I'm using one of these NeoPixel plugs to plug in my test rig. But at any rate, yeah, that's one of my test rigs plugs. So I'm going to hook in just temporarily to this to make sure it works. And I know it's crazy. I know it's a little crazy. This is probably an unneeded step. I know Jeremy and a bunch of other guys don't do this, and I know you guys probably watch these videos and you're like, what the hell is he doing that for? I don't know. I can't help it. I got to test. I got to make sure it works. And especially since this is like my first CCSabers pixel kit, I want to make sure that this works before I throw it in to the hilt. Okay, so now I'm getting my test rig down. Need a battery for my test rig. Honestly, I test when I turn it on. Yeah, I know, Cole, this is crazy, and I know it's a little crazy. There's my test rig. So now I'm going to plug in my test rig, which has the female plug to this, and make sure that all my wires are separated and they're not touching. Let's fire it up. Bam. We're in business. Just lock up. So, bam, that works. I'm just going to test all the colors. There's blue. Gold. That's the old Plector fire blade, which, you know, isn't that great. So that was our first attempt at it. This next one should be green. Yep. And this next one should be red. Or not. Let's color change. All right, screw it. I'm done testing. It works. I just didn't test it in red. I'm not gonna. That prism color change annoys the piss out of me, because if you don't press those buttons exactly at the right moment, then it shuts the saber down, and then I get pissed off. So eventually, I just need to put a Proffieboard in my test rig and be done with that crap. All right, so yeah, well, this is my first time using one, Cole. So y'all forgive me. And you know, I test when I'm not sure. And I'm trying to get these wires so I can get this thing down in the PCB. And hopefully that'll work. So we already know that it works. Hey, do you guys glue these things into these holders? Because I'm thinking I should probably run some E6000 in underneath this thing on the holder. So that's what I'm going to do now. Let me get some E6000 out. And yeah, I'm glad to see everybody tonight, Cole. I know everybody thinks I'm crazy with all my testing. That's funny that Cole said, you know, honestly, I test when I turn the saber on. And I'm like, I know, I hear you. I'm a little crazy, you know, when it comes to that. I do test too much. You know, I test too much when I had to build a test rig to test. All right, so I'm going to take some E6000. I'm going to just set a little bit of E6000 in here and spread it around. Not a whole lot, just a little bit, right? And then I'm going to pop this PCB down in there, and hopefully that E6000 will work. And there you go. So there's our finished PCB. So now what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to twist my positive and negative wires together a little bit. I don't twist data. If you twist data, sometimes you could mix in noise on the data if you twist in your data line. So Frederick said try not to twist in the data line, so I don't. So this baby's ready to install. So, oh, you're talking about the buttons. So here's the buttons I have. Now this is an older one from Robert Sotomayor. This one was Delrin, but it's just a dual tactile switch setup there. Yep, dual tactile from Robert Sotomayor. Yeah, I mean, I still test, and I know it's crazy. And by the way, now I'm putting I'm installing this in here. You know what? To keep these wires together, I'm going to do something you guys saw that you guys saw Jeremy do, and I do the same thing. Which I'll use a little bit of shrink to keep them all together, and send them through the hilt. That way they don't get all tangled on stuff inside the hilt. You know, it just gives you like basically one wire to send down the hilt. So I put a little bit of shrink on that bundle, and you know, the end of the wires right there. So I'm just going to cut that. I can hit that with a little bit of heat just to hold it together, and then I'm going to send this down through here. I'm going to send that down through there, just like that. And I'm going to get this all the way seated down in there, and it feels like it's all the way down in. Oh no, it wasn't. Now it's all the way down in there, and I mean it's deep. Holy crap, that thing's deep in there. All right, so now I need my Allen key. So I know I had my Allen key here last night because I was installing that speaker. Oh, there it is. So I got the NeoPixel module in there. And now we're going to tighten that one that should hold the NeoPixel module in there. And it might actually be ahead. Yeah. Dang it. So I might have to, hang on a minute. I'm going to have to push that thing forward a little bit. Let's see, yeah. Be careful. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was worried about. So the damn hung up on the retention because it actually was behind the retention. That's okay. We'll just thread it back through there. E6000 still is wet, so we'll pop it down through there. This is the first time I've used this one, y'all. So everyone bear with me. We're all learning. And you know, the blade depth on these things is sick. Sick. You know, I'm wondering if we get it far enough back. I'm wondering if we can't use that one. That seems crazy to me. I don't know if that will work. That far back one? Shit, it might. Alright. So I'm going to shove the NeoPixel module back down in there. So we're going back into the hole. And let's try tightening this one. That's crazy. That gives us even more blade depth. Like, you already have enough blade depth in there. You know, enough blade depth to choke a horse. Oh, yeah. I think that's grabbing it. Yeah. It kind of is and it kind of isn't. That one's too far back. That one's too far back. So we're going to have to go a little bit forward and get under that one that's meant to grab it. I'm having to look down in here to make sure that I'm in there good. So I'm going to push on the plastic, not on the PCB. And I think we're pretty good there. Now I'm going to tighten this one. So this should hold this should be good PCB retention here. That's nice and solid there. All right, so our PCB is in. We've got good PCB retention going here. I might replace this with a black retention screw later, but you know, I don't know if y'all can see it down in there, but there she resides down in the head of the saber. So we're in business. Yeah, I mean, we'll see how this works out. This is the first time I've used this. Now, really quick, another thing I need to do really quick is I have to take the, y'all are going to kill me, but I'm going to do some more testing here because I don't know if I put this button PCB back in right, because I like my power switch forward and my auxiliary switch backwards, which that's opposite from Jeremy. Jeremy, I've noticed, puts his power switch back and his auxiliary switch forward. So basically what I want to do is test these wires and find out which one of these switches is auxiliary and which one of them is power. And the only way I can do that is with the multimeter, because you can't really tell looking at the switch. So I need to get my multimeter back out here with the alligator clips on it. Oh yeah, so this is a pretty one called. This one's an old one. This one was etched by Pete's Powder Emporium, which is now, of course, everybody knows Pete is now the Bad Batch etching. Pete's now Bad Batch etching. So, you know, all right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to be testing. I'm going to kind of like try to get y'all in here so you can see what we're doing. So I'm going to the audible ohms test so you can, you know, hear what's going on there. And then I'm going to hook on to my white wire, which is my common ground for both switches. And I'm going to try and get it where it's contacting the thing. Hey, Birch did a video tonight, by the way, if y'all didn't see. And then I'm going to hook it on the yellow wire, which is auxiliary. And let's see which one's auxiliary. The forward one, right? The one I didn't want. Crapola. All right, so I got to rotate this because I don't want that like that. So that means I got to rotate this switch. So y'all stand by. I'm going to rotate this switch 180 degrees. All right. So now, and I need to add some E6000 on this sucker. So stand by. Off screen, I'm grabbing some fresh E6000. to put on this switch. And when I say fresh, I mean, you know, it ain't real fresh. I need a new tube of E6000. I'm just trying to get a little bit in there. And we'll put that away. And then let me get this kind of straight. And shove it down in there. And then it looks like I need to twist it a little bit. All right, it's in there. That is our switch that's in there. Now let's double check and make sure the forward switch is now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the green wire, and then I'll be able to hopefully get the multimeter out of here because we're all multimetered out at this point. Green wire in the alligator clips, and then we'll put the white wire in the alligator clips. And then hit the forward switch. We should have a tone if the wire is touching the alligator clip. Or we've got a bad switch. That would suck if I got to take all this apart and repair that switch. Right? This is the bad part about repair jobs, you know. Yeah, but I'm not getting a tone on that. I'm not getting a tone on that. This is why I test, y'all. If you had assembled this saber and installed all this and that switch is no good, that totally sucks. Yeah. That sucks. That totally sucks. Oh yeah, did y'all see Jeff's video? Yeah, that may do us for tonight, because taking apart this little switch is not going to be easy. That's going to throw definitely a monkey wrench in the install progress, is repairing this switch. But I don't know. Let's see. Let me see if I can repair it quick and dirty. God knows, man. That sucks. That really sucks. Somehow my green wire came undone from there. That's like totally sucky. Let me try this again. Because I just can't believe that this was working great until right now. Will Shaitola. And there's the auxiliary working. So now let's try to get the main switch working. Yeah, this really sucks. Yeah, we're gonna have to take this dang thing apart. Somewhere I've lost solder. All right, well, whatever. We're gonna take this switch apart and we're gonna repair the switch. And you know, we get to an hour tonight. We're at an hour. We're already at 43 minutes. This install ain't gonna happen. You know, I mean, I could keep going. I don't know. We could take a poll. You know, who wants to keep me going? Who wants me to keep going after I try to repair this switch? Look at there. The green wire came off the switch. Son of a biscuit. That ain't good. You know, we'll fix it. Maybe we can do a quick fix here. Let me try and figure out which one the yellow wire goes to. Man, these things are so tiny. Ugh. So basically, the green wire has come unsoldered from its switch in this bundle, and now I have to take it apart. Yeah, I know I can do it. It's just, man, you know, I had everything laid out. I was hoping everything would just go smooth tonight, and this is just a prime example of that'll never ever happen. You know what I mean? Nothing ever goes smooth. And I'm also got to find out which pole to wire it to And these dang things, y'all know I'm getting old, man. My old eyes just don't like this. Let's try this. I think I see the pole I need to go to. And we'll see if we can get there. I need to get my helping hands down, y'all. I'm gonna have to get some light on this subject. Oh, there's no way I can hold this. Ooh, look out. Safety glasses. Perch would be proud. Does you like my safety glasses? Danger, Will Robinson, danger. Oh, this sucks. Might have to really move y'all or something. And that yellow wire's barely holding on there too. Alright. Let me try and fix this darn thing. Where did my green wire go? I appear to have lost my green wire. Which end looks like is the best for this? Alright, I'm gonna get my solder out. See you, Cole. This is crazy here, y'all. This is not good. All right. Try and stick this green wire back on. Okay. I think I got the green wire back on. Huh, of course it's not going to stay, is it? These little switches, man, they're going to be the death of me. These little switches, man. They're a lot easier to solder when they're not in the holder. But if I take it out of the holder, it's going to be a disaster because then I'm going to be breaking the other wires trying to get them back in there. So I'm trying to solder it while it's in the holder. I'm going to get this. I know y'all aren't going to be able to see what I'm doing here. I'm out of frame just so where I can see. So y'all just bear with me. I'll try to get y'all back in frame here as soon as I can. This sucks because all you guys are just massively, all your stuff is in the way here. I really need to take this switch apart. I really think the appropriate solution here is just taking this switch apart. See, I'm on the right pad there, and the solder won't even take it because these things are so small. I almost need to be working on these things on a magnifying glass. Maybe. We're at a maybe. Let me feed this thing back through and we'll give her a test. And we'll see. If I can get it to tone on the green, you know, we'll let her have it. But my concern is that I think I put that on backwards. My concern is that I've broken this. You know, we're going to have to see where we're at here in a second. Let's try that. I think that holds the switches like that. Yeah. And then that goes in like that. And then this goes in like that. This is one of Sotomayor's old ones. That thing don't want to go through, does it? You gotta love this one. This stuff happens on a live video. It's horrible. Because you're just... Yeah, you know, this is why I know that, you know, normally we prep these things beforehand. This was working, and I tested it before I started this install tonight, because I did not want to be where we're at right here. Basically trying to get this darn thing working while we're live, because this... Yeah. You know, I'm surprised that I haven't let out a bunch of cuss words and profanity, because I am definitely frustrated. And now I don't want to pinch those wires in that. Oh, we got it through. All right. Let's go back to the meter. Yeah, I mean, this was definitely not something I intended on doing tonight. Testing these or, you know, rewiring these switches while you're live is not a good idea. It's too small to really capture what you're doing. It's just too small. And if this doesn't work, then I'm probably going to cut it. And, you know, we'll finish this next week. And it'll give me time to take this apart and test everything. Okay. I don't know that it's working still. Let's see. Yeah. Still not. I still don't have tone on that power switch. So I am not comfortable finishing this install because we don't have tone on this power switch. I really think I need to take this switch apart, clean up those pads, and fix this switch. I have no tone on the power switch. But you can see if I switch it to auxiliary, I have tone on the auxiliary. Yeah, see the wire just pulled out. So that's why we didn't have tone. But I can go to the auxiliary switch and hook it up. And we've got tone. So, yeah, that really sucks. So now we got to get that stupid thing out of there again. And take this out of there. Get the battery meter out of the way. And find out which of these is our auxiliary switch. And I'm pretty sure it's the power switch is this one, is the one we need. Bada bing. So now my switches are out of there. And now I'm going to put them in the helping hands and try to fix this. And, you know, when we get to an hour, we'll just cut it off. I know we're close. We're at 54 minutes. So this really sucks that we ran into this hiccup. And I'm really sorry, y'all, but the best laid plans of mice and men, you know what I mean? Typically, you don't want to do something like this live because this stuff is just too small. Try to get my helping hands in here where you can see what I'm doing. Let's try zooming in maybe. Alright, so it's going to do this thing again. Stand by. Whoa. There we go. And let's turn you guys a little bit here. And you can see where we're at there on this little switch. And I'm going to try to solder this bad boy on this switch here. That's a lot better solder than I was pulling off in the body of the dual switch holder. But you know, the body of this dual switch holder kind of broke in the process of all that too, so I don't know how good that's going to be. And let me try to hook that back down. Trying to put this, I know I need to zoom y'all out, just bear with me. This stupid thing. I don't know why my camera keeps locking up. It keeps locking up and freezing me out. Hey, Max. A lot of cuss words going on here, Max. Things didn't go as I wanted them tonight. I actually had one of these dual switches that didn't work, and one of the wires had come out, and now I'm having to repair this dual switch, and that wasn't what I intended on doing tonight. So that kind of threw a huge monkey wrench in my plans tonight, because I didn't intend on, you know, working on a switch the whole time we were supposed to be live. But I ended up having to work on a switch the whole time that we were supposed to be live. So that kind of hosed us pretty good. You know. All right, let's try testing this again. And I'm telling y'all right now, if this tests negative, you know we're done for the night. If it tests positive, maybe we'll put it in the Saber. Who knows? Maybe we'll keep charging on. I have to take a vote here in a second. All right, so let's hear if this tests positive. Oh, ho, ho. That is our activation switch. And now let's go to our auxiliary switch and make sure we didn't rip the wires out in it. Oh, we've got tone. There we go. Have I installed a KR dual switch? I have not. You know, I try to keep, you know, the problem for me with Cal is the same for you, Max, is that shipping from the UK is more expensive than shipping in the USA. And shipping in the USA, you know, is a lot cheaper. So, you know, Smugglers Outpost dual switches, which this is an old one. Yeah, this is an old one. So, bam, the switch passed the test. You know, I'll show you. Here's an example of Summer Roberts' new one. This is in my personal. Man, that focus is off, isn't it? Why is that focus off so bad? This is in my personal Saber, but his new ones are aluminum, so you know he machines them and they're pretty awesome. You know, I love that one. Okay, so we've got a successful test on this, so we're back where we were like 30 minutes ago, right? That totally stinks. But now I think what we need to do is we need to... I wish I had marked which one was a positive and which one was a negative. We need to get some goop on the subject here, as it were. So a little bit of E6000, and then I'll test the switches once we get it back in here. So we're going to send the switch wires back into, and it's really a you know, stupid thing that happened, because dude, we were ready to install like a half an hour ago before that happened, and then that caused a huge delay, massive delay of game. That's like ice in the puck, man. That was like ice in the puck. That was horrible. So I'm going to put this switch in very lightly, and let's test it. Let's find out which one's the power switch and which one's the yeah, these switches are no good. I know we lost a lot of viewers once that went bad, because it's not exactly network excitement, you know, watching switch repairs or not watching switch repairs, because I couldn't even have it on the screen. Okay, so my power switch is the forward one, the way I have it right there, which is awesome. So now I'm going to go ahead and seat our switch back down into the hilt just like that. Okay? That's awesome there. Now, we're making progress. We're back to where we should have been anyway. So I'm going to take my negative and speaker wires out of there. And then I'm going to run all these wires, our switch wires and our NeoPixel wires that we hooked up tonight into the chassis here. So here's all our switch wires and NeoPixel wires going up into the chassis. And coming out the hole where we're going to be installing. And then we're going to flip that around like that. Now these are all our blank wires here for the install, and let's talk about them. So this wire with the speakers, that's our main battery negative wire coming from the main battery negative. This red wire is our positive coming from our NeoPixel adapter. The black wire that's twisted into it's the negative coming from our NeoPixel adapter. That's your NeoPixel data, this purple wire. These two blue wires are speaker, and then this yellow wire and this white wire and this green wire, those are our switches. So the green is power, the yellow is auxiliary, the white is common ground to both switches. And the only thing we have left to do before we can install the soundboard in this Saber is to get the multimeter out of the way. Huh. Yeah, it's a nightmare, Robert. You know, when that switch wasn't good, nobody wants to sit there and watch you do a switch repair live on video. That's going to be a huge suckle. But what I'll do is eventually I'll download this video, and when I do the finishing video, and I'll edit all the switch malfunction out. You know, I'll cut into where the switch worked and install the switch. But, you know, I mean, the thing about these live videos is it really tells the truth about Saber installing, because you have stuff like this that goes wrong all the time, and, you know, you have to stop and fix it, and it can be frustrating. You know, it can be really frustrating. But right now, I think what we'll do, and then we'll end tonight, is we're going to get this positive battery connector out, and we're going to show you how we do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to rough up the back of this thing with our file that we had out earlier. So here's our battery connector, and we're just going to rough up the back of it. Now you saw Albert do this with a Dremel. I'm just going to rough it up. And you know, the reason you rough stuff like this up is it gives the solder a place to adhere to. It gives the solder a place to adhere to. And I'm going to basically send this positive wire into the hilt, and then I'm going to merge it with this positive wire, and then I'm going to pigtail up a 26 for the Proffieboard. So the positive will be directly connected from the battery to our NeoPixel strip, but then I'll have a 26 gauge positive feeding the Proffieboard. So I got to get a 26 gauge positive here cut for that. And we'll be ready to rock and roll. Oh, and I need a 22 gauge for the positive. So I am going 22 gauge from the positive battery terminal to inside the hilt, where we're going to do that merge. And I'm going to cut one way too long. So here's the 22 gauge positive. I'm very sorry that switch thing happened tonight, y'all. That's freaking bummer. That's pretty much how my day goes today. And then I'm going to strip some of that wire, and then you can see why my mat's all messed up, because, you know, I'm going to make it happen right here on the mat and melt the mat. I need a new mat anyway right now. I may get one of them Smugglers Outpost ones. But at any rate, how does this thing go down in there? Does it go down like that? Or like this? I think it goes down long widthways long. Yeah. Yeah, it goes down the wide way. So I'm going to put the I'm going to go ahead and get some solder right here where we rough that up. And let's go ahead and get some solder on there. This will be the last thing I do tonight. Is probably what I'll do is I'll run this positive into the hilt, and I'll merge our positives, And that'll be the last thing we do for the night. And then next week, I guess we'll install the Proffieboard next week. So I'm terribly sorry that happened. Oh, I put the damn solder in the wrong place. Now I got to wipe that off of there. Crapola. All right. So now we got to pre-tin this wire. Well, these switches, you know, these micro switches, I love them, but man, they're small. And when you're wiring them up, you know, stuff could go wrong quick, fast, and in a hurry. And it stinks when it does. So I'm melting that solder. Whoo! Fingers hot. Oh, man. Oh, smell-o-vision. Burning fingers. So there's the battery terminal. I'm trying to get light on the subject there. I don't know if y'all can see it. Yeah, Max, I'm always for jumping in on your streams as long as I'm home. You know, my problem is I never know if I'm going to be home or not because of my job. So I'm going to run this positive wire down in there now. And then I'm just going to put this positive terminal in there. And I'm going to push it on down in there. Sometimes I got to force these down in there, you know, but I don't want to break the print. But there's a space for that positive terminal. I want to get it down in there as good as I can. So now my positive terminal is down in there. And there's my positive wire that goes to the positive terminal. Spring side your negative, this side your positive. So, you know, that's how this is going to work. And I think now what I'm going to do is I'm going to merge these two positives. And I'm going to add the 26 gauge line onto it, which is going to be the positive to my Proffieboard. So, you know, cut, and I keep those scraps around for later. I might be able to use them in other projects. And then I'm going to bring in the helping hands here. I'm going to strip. This is my positive merge. I'm going to strip. I'm going to strip a little bit more off this one because I'm going to add my 26 gauges pigtail that's going to feed my Proffieboard. So I'm basically merging the positive NeoPixel from the NeoPixel adapter to the positive battery terminal that we just soldered. And I'm also going to add in this little 26 gauge pigtail that's going to feed up into the Proffi. You don't need to use 22 on the power on Proffi on positive. And the reason is because, of course you were going to do that, right? You're going to stay twisted. You're going to go in the hole, ball. Just like that. So this is our 26 gauge and the NeoPixel line coming down from the NeoPixel adapter, and I'm going to solder them together in the merge. So I'm putting my soldering iron underneath the wire, and then I'm adding solder to the twisted pair, just like that. And then that allows the solder to go into your twisted wire. And hopefully y'all are seeing that. I know we're kind of like not zoomed in here, but it is what it is. Jeremy doesn't film zoomed in all the time. When I'm doing the board, I'll try and zoom in a little bit more. I'll try and set the camera up where I can adjust it in and out. Y'all are just going to have to bear with me and use your imagination tonight. All right, where are my helping hands? There we go. And let's try to grab this with our helping hands. And I'm going to bring in my hemostats too. She's getting ready to see me bring in my hemostats. And I need to get a little shrink wrap action going on here. And this is going to be it for tonight, guys. Once I do this merge, we're going to call this a night. I think this will go over everything. So let me get some shrink wrap cut here and put that over this positive line. Yep, like that. Now I'm going to get my hemostats in here. And hopefully y'all will get to see me do this merge. All right. And I'm going to bend this down so it looks like we've got a good joint there. And hopefully y'all will be... Let me zoom in on this so you guys can see this, because this is kind of important. I know Max struggles with this one, so I'm going to try and zoom in a little bit on what we're doing here so you guys can see it, I hope. And I'll try to move everything into position so we have it in frame. Just bear with me, and we'll get all this in frame. All right. So this right here is the NeoPixel positive and our 26 gauge positive that's going to feed the Proffieboard. And then this is my battery positive that we just soldered onto the battery positive terminal a second ago. Now here's the tricky part, is I'm going to merge these, and then we're going to put shrink over them, and we're going to jam all this down into the hilt and get it out of our way because we don't need it anymore. So here we go. I've got my soldering iron, and now this is crazy because I'm shooting past the camera stand and the helping hands here, but I'm trying to heat up all this joint so she flows. I'm not really happy with that. Let me get some more solder on my tip here. And I'm going to try and get some goop on that. Dang, I thought Cole was gone. I thought Cole had to go feed his dogs or something. Yeah, so I'm not making large wire paths. I just I'm using a smaller gauge to go up to the Proffi because you don't need a big gauge, and I'll explain why in a second. So electricity in a direct current circuit runs from, ooh, that's pretty, ooh, that was pretty. Oh, too bad nobody's here to see that. Oh no, we still got some viewers on. That was a pretty solder right there, ladies and gents. That wasn't too bad. That wasn't too bad. I know it looks kind of ugly there zoomed in, but that is actually a nice merge right there. That's pretty nice. And then we're going to slide this shrinkaroo up over there and make sure we got the joint covered. We don't want any shorts. And we're going to hit that with a little bit of heat. And I think we're going to call that. Yeah, I mean, it's a cell phone, right? Man, I'm so sorry about those switches, guys. That was such a pain in the rear when that happened. That just sucks. I'm like thoroughly depressed about that. So anyway, just really quick to let y'all know what's going on before we cut out from here, because I'm not going to get to install this tonight, obviously, because we're definitely running out of time. This is our positive from our battery positive terminal that we just soldered on here. This is the positive. The thicker positive is coming from our NeoPixel adapter. They're merged here onto a 26 gauge wire. And this 26 gauge wire, which is way too long, is going to feed our Proffi. We really only needed a piece a couple inches long, so I don't know why I did that. Who knows? Well, let me get all these wires out of the way now, and I'm going to shove that merge down in there. Now the dangerous part for us is we have two black 22 gauge wires, and one of them is our NeoPixel negative and one of them is our battery negative. And you can always tell the NeoPixel negative because, stand by. Let me zoom you guys out so you guys can see what's going on. Let me zoom y'all out here before we go away for tonight. Oh, Lord. Here we go. Okay. So now that we're zoomed back out, this wire has the twist in it. This is our NeoPixel negative. This wire that doesn't have the twist, that's our battery negative. This is NeoPixel data. This is going to be positive to the Proffieboard. And then, of course, our battery negative is a negative to the Proffieboard. Speaker wires. Green is power. Yellow is auxiliary. White is common ground to both switches. And Bob's your auntie. That's it. That's all the wires we have to install. That's not a lot of wires in this saber. It's going to be very simple. It's a 2-button, 1-blade saber, but it's got the CC lit connector in there that's going to run in parallel with the blade, which that's awesome. Very simple chassis, very simple saber. I'm sorry we didn't get to finish the install, but that button really held me up. So stand by one. Let me go to a Windows share and put y'all on the CC page. And stand by. We'll get y'all off of this stupid thing and back over here. Oh, man. That. I'm gonna put my safety glasses on for this. Jeff Birch will be proud. Stand by. I'm getting ready to end this stream. Alright, so that's it for tonight, y'all. I'm sorry that switch thing didn't work out. Dang, you know. Sometimes it just doesn't happen. Sometimes it just doesn't work out. So when that dual switch failed over there, it made life kind of difficult. And, you know, it is what it is. But, you know, we're almost to the point of install. And, you know, we are tonight where, you know, in a perfect world, the upside down camera. Yeah, I know. It's crazy. In a perfect world, I could have had all that pre-wired. So I'm just, all the wires are going into the Sabers. So we're going ahead and wire the Proffie. But, you know, I tend to like to shoot more than that. You know, this was going to be my first experience with the CCSabers adapter. So I wanted to be shooting that. You know, technically, I could have prepped all that and had all that ready to go. But what fun would that be? You get to see me mess around with something that I haven't messed around with. And you see me go straight to the manual, just like I asked y'all to do. Oh, yeah. These are, don't you ever watch Slapshot, eh? I'm singing them. They're singing a fucking song. I actually wore these when I played hockey one time, and everybody laughed about it. If you haven't seen Slapshot, you need to. Yeah, these are high fashion. My safety glasses. Jeff Birch would be proud. You know, he's a big safety guy. But at any rate, you know, did the best we could tonight. We did get the Saber wired to the point where we can solder in the wires to the board. So, you know, we'll do that next week. The good news is I have time to work on this Saber because the Graflex that I took apart, oh my God, everything's wrong on it. Having to redo the whole Graflex. So, yeah, if you guys haven't seen Slapshot, you go watch that. That's a great movie. It's just a great movie. Paul Newman's in it. It's an awesome movie. You should go watch it. Funny as shit. But at any rate, you know, we'll call that it for tonight. It is what it is. Maybe I'll come on and try to go live later on and finish this thing this week. But first things first, everything in my focus is going to be on this Graflex, is getting the Graflex put back together. I had to replace the speaker in a master chassis on the Graflex 2.0. That sucks. I had to replace the NeoPixel LED, and that was like a RGB LED, and I'm changing it out to a NeoPixel, so it'll be better. I mean, the Saber's going to be better than it was, but man, I'm having to basically reinstall that whole Saber. It really sucks. It's a huge pain in the butt, but that's going to be my focus for the rest of this week. And if I get that done, then, you know, we'll either finish this Saber up this weekend that we're working on tonight, or we'll do it next Monday live. So we'll try to be with you guys next Monday live. Thanks for hanging in. Sorry I went over. We're 18 minutes past an hour. Jeff Birch's going to be pissed. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Hit that like, hit the subscribe button. You know, I'm approaching 2,000 viewers. I don't know. I got to do something special when I hit 2,000 subscribers, but, you know, we're almost there. But thank you guys for tuning in. Hopefully we help you, and hopefully y'all can help other people. And we'll put the old Jeff Birch's hashtag nerd up in there. And may the force be with y'all, or the dark side, as it were.
Thank you, everybody, for watching, as usual. I really appreciate y'all tuning in on my channel. And as always,